Assalamualaikum and greetings everyone. I'm Afiza Ali, the leader for this project called My Pocket Counselors. What is My Pocket Counselors? Before I go on with explaining what My Pocket Counselor is, it is actually a website application that can be opened in website and also in the phone. It connects between counselors and also the school or university students. This is actually called My Pocket Counselors is because the counseling session is, as we know, the counseling session is full of ethics and confidentiality is very important. And because of that, this app cannot be found in App Store and so on, because this app is belong to organization. So say, for example, if one university, they want to use this website apps, the administration for this app will be the counselors. And the client for these apps will be the students in the university. With this method, all conversation and all the activities happen in this app will be monitored closely by the counselors. So the confidentiality will be protected. So let me introduce to you and show to you these apps. So this is actually the apps, website apps that we have developed, right? So it's called My Pocket Counselors. So we do have two windows here, the window for the student and also the window for the counselors. So let us begin with the student. So if it is the student, so the student have to sign in these apps. But before that, let me just explain to you our service. So in this app, there are three things that we can do through this app. The first one, the function is Talk to Me. This function is where the student can set an appointment with the counselors for go on with an online counseling. The second one, which is actually the specialty about this app, the best thing, the good thing about this app is we integrate the psychological assessment online. So with this psychological assessment, such as mental health screening, personality test, career choice, and learning style, this is the test that can be answered by the student, because sometimes students are not really sure their status of mental health, whether or not they are at the stage where they have to really communicate with their counselors. So what they can do, they can assess themselves too. And later on, all this result of the assessment, if they are agreed to go on with the counseling session, this result can be integrated to the counselors so that the counselors can understand the client better from the score of this test. And the third one is a career path. Career path is something that we will develop in the future. If the apps is going smoothly, the development going smoothly, we are heading to mapping the career path from the result from the test and also from the input from the counselors, so that the counselors can map the career pathway for the students. So these are all the three functions. Okay, let's say you are the student. You just go to the sign in as a student, and then you can sign in as a student, and then you can log in as usual. So after they log in, they will see the interface. So what they can do here, they can talk to me, assess yourself, and also some security features. So talk to me, for example, if they want to talk to the counselors, what they can do is just add an appointment. If you can see, these are all the history of the conversation with the counselors. So they add new appointment. If they want to create new appointment, you can choose which counselor they want to talk to. And the day, for example, 29th of September, and they wanted to talk to the counselors at 12:30. And the time is actually depending on the counselor. The counselor, on the counselor window, they can choose or they can set whether or not they are free or not free at that certain particular time. And the student have to write a brief note about what is the purpose of this appointment. For example, they can just put here stress of exam, for example. So they can just add. After adding this, new insert inserted successfully. So on the page of the counselor has to approve this. If it is approved, then they will just wait for the time. And when the time comes, they can just open the window and then chat to each other. So before chatting take place, they will pop out one informed consent, just like the real counseling session. The informed consent need to be accepted by the counselors and also by the student before they proceed with the online counseling. So that is actually what happened in the conversation. Now, the student can also go to assess yourself. These are all the list of the tests that they can take in order for them to understand their level of mental health and so on. Let's say if they choose to answer depression, anxiety, and scale, they can just read this answer and they can just click in read the question, and they can just click in their answer based on what their current situation. Let's say if I just randomly click this answer, and then they can just go to score, and after they score, they can have the level of each of stress, anxiety, and depression. So here the stress is severe, anxiety is severe, and depression is severe. And because of that, we put here some suggestion that this person is highly recommended to see the counselors, and they can just click here to make an appointment with the counselors. So that is what happened in the interface of the student. So now we go to the interface of the counselors. So the counselors will log in here, and as you can see just now, the students is actually doing this appointment, right? So this is actually the awaiting confirmation for the counselor. So what the counselor will do is they can schedule that, and then they will save. Okay, so it means that in the window of students window, they know that the appointment is approved. So this is what happened. Okay, so then what happened to the counselors is the conversation in this will be saved in the database of that particular organization, school, or university. Only the counselors can access that. And the conversation will stay in database for 7 days. After 7 days, the conversation will disappear automatically from the system. These are all the things that we do because we want to make sure the confidentiality of the conversation can be protected. So that is actually what on how these apps working. So we hope that this app can become one of the initiator for a lot of organizations to move online, to move face-to-face counseling to the online counseling. Because of the pandemic, because of our situation now, this My Pocket Counselor is so relevant, especially for schools and university, and it can also assist students to understand themselves better. What happened previously is the test is always separate in each of the apps and the website for e-counseling. But now what we do, we integrate this so that the result can be integrated. In fact, we can mapping more information to get or to give a better direction for the students. So this is all about My Pocket Counselor, and hopefully this can become the new addition or giving a lot of benefit to our society. So thank you so much. Assalamualaikum.